For those who know me in the room, they know that I've participated in the market for a while and done everything from resi and the kilowatts all the way up to now megawatts and gigawatts. So we've seen this really crazy, pressing evolution, especially like the integration of renewables into ERCOT. And I was reflecting with somebody last night about where we saw the market in 2013. 2025 was so far out. And did we see where we were, 12 years ago? And I think in general, we kind of had a sense, yeah, this is where we were going to see a lot of renewables come online. We had a good idea of where generation was going, but I don't think we had a good idea of where load was going. Obviously, the latest incentives to move business to the state have really helped drive that. And not only did we not see where load was going, we didn't see the scale at which load was going there. Like we are looking at meters that are 800 megawatts on a single meter. That's crazy. That's insane. We used to think 10 megawatts was a big deal. Now 10 megawatts is like, I don't know if we have time for 10 megs. That feels really small. So, I mean, we've seen this really rapid shift and this change in trajectory in terms of where we're seeing this market go. And so when we talk about the next 5 years, it's really interesting. It's going to be, I think, much faster the rate of change than what we've seen perhaps the last 5 years. We saw the last 5 years coming. I don't know if we saw the next 5 years coming. So when I think about like what's going to happen, I think the next 3 years are super critical. The next 3 years will dictate what happens in 5 years. So when I really think about like what I'm focusing on or where Mothership is focusing, we are focusing on the next 2 to 3 years and say what is going to happen in the next 2 to 3 years, because that will absolutely determine what we see in 28, 29, 30. This is largely, again, I think this is the theme that we're hearing at this conference, largely a conversation about the queue and what's going to happen with large loads, what's happening as a result of SB6. This is the conversation. It's a very near-term discussion. It doesn't mean that all the other discussions don't need to keep happening. We need to keep having the conversations around how do we manage our really elastic peaks with residential volatility. Like we still need to have those conversations, but we have this really big, urgent conversation in front of us of like, what do the next 2 to 3 years look like? Because that will then dictate the tail after that. I mean, 190 gigs in the queue, we know that's not real. Like that's not what our future looks like in the next 5 years. What part of that is real? Maybe 5-10%, like maybe 10%, maybe 15%, maybe 20%. What do we actually think generation can keep up with? What is practical? What is feasible? And so in the next 5 years, I don't know what's going to happen in the next 5 years. In the next 3 years, I'll be willing to take every month we get closer to that 5-year benchmark, I'll be a little bit more willing to wager. But right now, I see the conversation of, okay, we have a jam. Like we can't get to the numbers that we're talking about by 2030. We're too jammed up. So if I think like maybe another 10, 15 gigs by 2030, maybe in the next 2 to 3 years, 4 or 5 gigs, I don't know. Depends on, again, how we handle and how we manage through the stuff that's jamming up right now. I think this gets to the innovation conversation that we can talk through more later, but yeah, it's
So
2 to 3 years.